coming to us to see how St. Peter's neighborhood is still struggling to get repair for the roofs, for the homes. But also there are beautiful stories, as for instance this one, how tourists from the United States of America contacted us, and as we could do, because of the inventory that we made with seniors, they could go through the paperwork that we had, and they choose 2 families to bless their heart, repairing their homes. The gentleman that we will be interviewing is one that has been moved by God. He decided to come and help out. It is his vocation, but this is what is that God put on his heart to do. From this family, we have Gail, who lost her job because of the hurricane. She can tell you the struggles that she's going through, what it is that she already did to get assistance, to get help for her and her 2 kids. This is what a lot of people in St. Peter's are still going through. But no better one to explain to you, for you to understand what we are going through. Let's talk with Gail Hodge herself.
At the AUC in Kupakoi, and right now the work is kind of limited because there are not much students came back, and I have to do odds and end job like everybody else. I heard other stories, people who had stores in town or stores wherever had to end up maybe baking at home or cleaning as a job that they probably never did before. Right now, after Irma, you have to do what you have to do to survive. I was taking care of my one of my best friend's kids because she wasn't finding a play school for them. So we talked, and we decided that she would pay me for taking care of the kids. It wasn't much, but better something than nothing. And that's about it for now.
I understand that you tried to get help, and your help didn't come forward. You approached 2 4 entities to be able to assist you, and each one of them could not come up. How did that went?
Until now. They made us fill out forms.
So you went to VSA?
VSA, went to VSA. Well, me and my sisters, all of us helped. Each one of us went to different people. We went to VSA, we went to Fromi, we went to
St. Martin Development Fund.
St. Martin Development Fund, and nothing. Up to now, it's January 19th now, 1920, and nothing, not even a phone call. My mom told me they had 2 gentlemen came here, and I guess they were auditing to see, was the cost of, I don't know. But after that, they never showed up again. That was in October. They never even gave her a card, as professionals, give her a card and say, well, because you can see that she's an old elderly person, and she need help, and give her a card or something she mightn't remember, so she could tell us, because we're trying to work and get our lives together. But we never heard from them. That was since October. And then we went to the John Lamley Center. Mr. Yeshurun directed us to go there. And we went and filled out forms, and this is how we got help from Donna and Dan, and which, as you can see, we're getting through. We're getting our roof on, and we're getting it on properly.
And I understand you also is assisting them along with rebuilding back the home.
Of course, it's my home. I should be here every day until it's done. My big son, he's 25, he's helping as well. My sister, Patrice, she's helping as well. My 13-year-old, making 14 next month, he's helping as well. When he finished school, he comes straight here to help with whatever he can help with. Yeah, all of us are helping, so we want to get it done.
How dramatized was it for you? I noticed that all section of your home, that the roofs are off completely.
Yes.
What was it like when you went through that? If you could share that with us.
It was, that's something I don't,
It's something that you will never want to experience again.
no.
Now, when your roof has gone completely, where you all they went?
We stayed, some of us stayed in the back by my sister because my sister have an apartment at the back, a 1-bedroom. So we let my mom stay there, and my big son and I, we slept in the car for like 2 weeks. And I took my last child up by his father. His place didn't get no damage, so we let him stay up there. And we got help here and there to maybe sleep one night by a friend or, whoever. And very grateful for that. And then I get this friend, Inicio Martina, who allowed myself and my last boy to stay there. Actually, he wanted my mom. He told me I could bring my mom and my bigger son as well. But my mom, she'd rather stay here. And my big son, he'd rather stay with her. So we split up. We're in Colby and they're here. And it's very hard, because I can't get to take care of her like I'm supposed to. Because sometimes she forgets if she eats. And my son have to go to work sometimes, and somebody always have to be here with her, because her health is deteriorating. Well, her memory then is deteriorating. And then her health would deteriorate because she's not being cared for the way she's supposed to be cared for.
Now, how did your mother went through with this all at the age of she, I understand for you, she's 85 years old, and then going through the storm. It's not going to be her first hurricane, but this one is one of the biggest one that ever hit St. Martin.
Yeah.
How was her feelings going through that storm?
She was depressed for weeks. Actually months. She was depressed after the hurricane. She was crying almost every day. And then when I had to move to Colby, I couldn't see her every day like normal. And she would forget when I came and looked for her, and then she would tell me she thought I'd give up on her. And she would cry and she would hold me so tight, and she didn't want to let go.
All in all, now you're trying to recover from all what happened. You have help coming from some friends, or I guess your best friends right now, that helping you to get back on track. And I guess that is going very well for you.
Yes.
We're Dan and Donna Lichty, and we actually live in Niceville, Florida. We have a contracting business in Atlanta, Georgia, and God has richly blessed us. He's given us, number one, a heart for those that are in need. And I'd like to read you a scripture verse that tells you why we're here. And it's in James 1:27. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. We have been coming to St. Martin for probably 10, 12 years. When you get a little older, you lose track of time sometimes. And we've enjoyed being here. But our goal when we come to St. Martin was never just to come and relax and do nothing, but our goal is to serve our God. And for the first couple of years we had a little trouble finding a church, and then we found Good News Baptist Church, and we found ways to serve the people of St. Martin through Good News Baptist Church, and we have enjoyed that relationship that we've had there.
Now, how did you get in contact to this family to able to assist them?
Oh, this was really easy. We got here a week ago Friday, and Saturday morning I go to the Gideon's meeting with my good friend Raymond, and Raymond works with the elderly here, and first thing I did was ask Raymond, do you have a lead for us? Because we knew that there were many houses without roofs, and I've been in the contracting business 45 years, so this was, other than my physical abilities, this was pretty easy. I'm getting a little slower now. It's a little harder for me to drive a nail than it used to be, but I can still do it.
What was the destination that you saw when you came to the home and see that the amount of work that had to go in it, especially that at the time of your age, like you just finished, you're not active before, but you get something done.
Oh, Don and I are still pretty active. It's just that we just aren't quite as nimble as we used to be. And when we came to the home and looked up and saw no roof there, why, it was I could call it a no-brainer. This is a house that needs a roof. And that's what we did. We came and let me think here, last Tuesday the material was delivered, the 2x4s and the zinc, as they call it here in St. Martin. We call it metal roofing, but down here you don't say that way, they don't know. I say zinc now. And we had that delivered last Tuesday, and I think we have about half of the house done now. And it's been a joint effort with Gail and her sister Patsy and Gail's son Mario.
Oh, I'm just heartbreaking to see how these people are living.
And what actually do you do? Do you take up a hammer and knock a nail in the zinc?
No, I can't hammer, but I'm a gopher. I get this and I get that, and
Okay.
I help a little bit lifting this and that, and so I'm mainly a gopher and a cleaner-upper with my projects.
I guess the family that you help now appreciate it tremendously of what you're doing and getting them back up on their feet.
Yes, I'm sure they do. It's our pleasure to do this, and we are so thankful to God because He has blessed us way beyond what we could ever imagine.
Yeah. I could understand from you there's a lot of mixed feelings into what you saw and able to do.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And, it's been months and people still need so much help.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NV.
But speaking about the short period of time, the elections, of course, are slated for the 26th of February. And you have heard me from basically day one when the new decree was issued on the 12th of November of last year, the new decree for the election. I indicated that, in my opinion, the decree that actually amended the one of the 3rd of November, that decree was not in keeping with the Constitution of St. Martin. I spoke about it, I questioned it, and just before the change of government, I forwarded a letter to the government asking if the government concurs with my conclusion that the election decree is in violation of the Constitution. And I also asked the new Prime Minister, Mrs. Marlene Romeo, to please answer that letter as soon as she takes office. I asked those questions not as a coalition member to the Prime Minister, but rather as a member of Parliament, in which I drew certain conclusions as to the national decree for the election. And the Prime Minister has responded to me and thus to Parliament, actually confirming my conclusion and position that the decree of the election of the 13th of November, that decree violates the Constitution. So I have received an official letter, the Parliament has received an official letter from government where that is concerned. In its letter, the government also makes mention of the fact that, notwithstanding that conclusion, the process of election is ongoing. And this government now faces that dilemma. What do you do, having concluded the violation of the Constitution? As far as that point is concerned, the Prime Minister, in her letter to me as Member of Parliament, indicated that that will be discussed in the Council of Ministers. I have also, as a Member of Parliament, sent to the Council of Advice a petition for advice with respect to this matter, and a petition to the Council of Advice by a Member of Parliament, even the President of Parliament, needs to be sanctioned by Parliament before it can go. So that petition, that request for advice has not gone because it has to come to Parliament. Parliament has to agree that it should be sent to the Council of Advice, and then that will be done so that we can also have a legal advice outside of the political arena, that we can have a legal advice on this topic. I believe it's important. Whether we can do something about the election itself, yes or no, I believe it's important that it be established that in this particular decree for election, that the term mentioned in the Constitution has been exceeded, and the question we are seeking to get an answer to is, what does that mean for the process? Could we say, oh shucks, it exceeds the period and we go ahead? Could it have any other ramifications? That's the question. Could it have any other ramifications? If the legal minds say no, was an oversight, sorry, process has started, let's continue, then that could be put aside until someone in the future makes an issue of it. But that it has been established that the decree is in violation of the Constitution in itself is a very serious position to put forward. But in the meantime, no decision has been taken about the election not taking place, so all preparations and whatever else needs to be done is ongoing, as you have undoubtedly noticed from all of the political rhetoric that you're hearing all over. But I just needed to put that forward, that response has been received by Parliament.
all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as MyCard. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to MyCard. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to MyCard today at WIB.
Within your reach.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
1,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2.
3.
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
When the hurricane came, and so many things that, well, you had a budget set.
Right.
Before the hurricane come, that you could be able to execute a lot of your things that you wanted to execute between the sports and education. And suddenly you had to cut down. What was your biggest task during your education as minister and administrator during the hurricane time that was difficult for you?
Well, I must say, right after the hurricane, taking a tour, seeing the state of the schools, seeing the state of the sports facilities and cultural facilities, it was disheartening, it was discouraging. But I'm a person that has been raised by a little tiger, a very short lady that people would know by the name of Nadia. And she was a person that taught me that no matter what the obstacles are or how high a mountain looks, tackle it piece by piece, and slowly but surely you will get where you're trying to go. And so even though it looked insurmountable, I was never daunted. The important thing for me at the time was communicating with the management team. And we have a WhatsApp group, and whoever we couldn't get responses from right away, we called on the telephone. And who I couldn't get on telephone because I had access with my vehicle, the government's vehicle, I drove to their homes to make sure that they were okay. Once we were able to get in contact with all the management team, this was like within the 3rd day after the hurricane, the 7th or the 8th, first meeting was held to get our footing. What are we doing? Because for some reason or other, the people who came up with all of the emergency services, the EOC had ESF 1 to 10, education was not involved. Education did not have representation. But I must say that I told them that I think it was important, and they allowed the SG of the ministry, the now minister, Mrs. Writer, to sit in on those meetings, because I ended up sitting in most of those meetings and then still having to sit in on Council of Ministers while trying to coordinate getting our recovery started and the emergency dealt with. The emergency was the first thing, of course. It was quite a task. So having her go to those EOC meetings and then us sitting back together helped a lot. But we were never in the original setup, so I believe that as soon as we get into the real recovery, that we need to reassess the importance of education, because we saw that though people thought I was crazy back then when I told them I wanted to open back up schools within a month, especially for the exam and pre-exam classes, we saw that it happened. We saw that it happened because not only did we do our best to get in contact with everybody for the management of the ministry, then we went to the school boards and we got in contact with all of them, and we got in contact with all of the sports organizations, the NSI, the Federation. They started to do assessments together of the different facilities as well. School boards went out there and assessed their schools. We went out and assessed also. We sent out engineers from the military as well as engineers from VRAMI with educational experts to go out to the schools to see the extent of damage right away. So based on those initial assessments is why we said, okay, it looks really bad, but once we get the cleanup done within the first 2 weeks and we start to do some quick repairs, we should be able to get something done. And by the grace of God, I must say we were able to do that. I've gotten quite some backlash about it, even though we got a lot of good responses after it was done. The backlash about the readiness of staff remains something that I think that could have taken probably a little more consideration. This minister could have been a little less hasty in that response in terms of making sure they were ready prior. But again, sometimes, my daughter said, I'm always going 300 and I expect everybody to go 300 with me. So I apologize if I've overstepped in expecting too much of them too soon. But I remember back in 1995, after the hurricane, and I was a teacher, I don't remember anybody, we've come beyond that. It's 22 years, yes. But because of my experience and our ability, we had to wait on them to construct wooden classrooms and do all kind of things, and everybody was itching to get back to school. And remembering that feeling is why I felt it was important to get schools restarted, because once schools are restarted, parents can settle down, they have a little more time to deal with the other issues they have to deal with. We not only restarted school, we did have psychosocial assessments done on all the children and all the staff, etc. It was just that it kind of happened simultaneously, and after having meetings with them, I agreed that we should have probably had the assessments of the staff and teachers first, as well as of the ministry staff, because they were like, Minister, you're only worrying about the teachers. We too under stress. So yes, we're all under stress, and I apologize again if I move too quickly on that. But the end result, we continue to give that service to the teachers and the staff. And as civil servants, all of us who work within the ministry, as well as teachers in all the subsidized schools, are insured and are able to get a referral letter from their doctors if the psychosocial sessions that they received in school were not sufficient. So I believe in that way, school managers play a very, very strong role in assessing their teacher and staff, in assessing their working environment. Department heads similarly within the ministries gauge. Some persons might not be coping well, some may be coping very, very well, and just see each other and give each other the support they need, but also encourage them, if that's not sufficient, to get the professional help to move forward. But I think having schools started really jumpstart all of the rest, and soon, electricity was restored, and we made sure that the children had feeding at midday. So even the fact that, they were coming to school, they were able to socialize with friends, see their teachers, get lessons, and initially it was very minimal. They built up after a while. They gave the children a good bit of time, most schools, to get back into the rhythm and get the hurricane out their system, to draw about it, to speak about it, to act it out, to get it out of their systems, and hopefully taught them also self-calming techniques and the like. Yoga has come in quite handy. It was something that we were having discussions with, and I did not get to finalize that policy, but that's something I'm really looking forward to sharing and getting the interests of the population in as well, because I've seen in other instances in other countries where it was even used for behavior modification.
Hurricane Irma, as has been expressed earlier already, has undoubtedly changed not only the physical landscape of our island. It has changed the economic, financial, and psychosocial landscape as well. As Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, besides lending my support and focus to the agreements of the Governing Accord for the Romeo Marlin Cabinet, in these coming weeks and months, my priorities will also be on the early and midterm recovery of our nation and the areas that pertain to my ministry in particular. This morning, I received an interesting message through, of course, WhatsApp, and the highlights and the special news of cultural expressions is very dear to me. And the message which reads, "Put your heart, mind, and soul into even your smallest acts, as this is the secret of success," I think should be recognized by everybody that made a vital contribution over the last couple of months. Of course, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport has indeed already undertaken many, many initiatives, small and big, and completed enormous tasks with entire sectors, such as the school boards, sport organizations, representatives and organizations for the arts, and youth organizations, including daycare centers. And I therefore would also like to express my sincere thank you and gratitude to former Minister Severia Jacobs for her proactive initiatives in the emergency phase after Irma. We recognize leadership and support to reopen the schools in October, to ensure that our community was able indeed, as also expressed by my colleagues, to stabilize and to indeed create some sense of normalcy in our family lives. I am happy to announce the Ministry's contribution to our need to complete our own Sint Maarten National Recovery Plan. And I would like to emphasize our own National Recovery Plan, and to ensure that we stay stable in the negotiations of the World Bank. The preparations to a Ministry Resilience Plan titled MRP Education Comes First is a comprehensive approach to working toward the objectives of establishing a foundation for a sustainable recovery and to also improve disaster responsiveness before, during, and after disasters in the education, culture, youth, and sports sector. As your new minister, I believe in the principles of open government, and I join and I'm happy to be amongst this group of ministers. I indeed support, sometimes maybe radical transparency, to regain trust amongst our people, our constituents. It's so dearly needed, especially during these times of post-Irma. Of course, you, the press, and the entire community expects us to be able to hit the ground running from day one and to make a difference. In line of this belief, in participation and partnerships, I can say that my cabinet and I immediately participated in the second series of consultation sessions that were scheduled this week on Monday. And these sessions were with key stakeholders of my ministry, and we agreed indeed that it is imperative that we accelerate on the vital issues related to reconstruction of schools, sport and cultural facilities. While we may feel a sense of satisfaction after indeed the enormous and huge efforts made in the first 4 months, if we drive around, we still see, of course, the impact in our schools, in our sports facilities, of our monuments, and we have to be very careful not to forget that we have to push forward once more. Projects, therefore, need to be developed immediately to ensure that the opportunity of funding to the World Bank, as mentioned also by Minister Verrier, can be considered, and I urge, therefore, the stakeholders to partner with my ministry and focus on being efficient and effective in the planning and executing of these vital projects. They cannot wait. While we may consider this ministry to be soft and part of social affairs, I dare to emphasize the critical nature of education, culture, youth and sport, and the younger generations as critical in a healthy and strong economic and productive recovery. Projects are expected to be prepared as soon as possible, as the matters and preparation of the National Recovery Plan will have to be concluded in actionable items with projected financial consequences. And that has to happen indeed for and during this interim period as soon as possible. Critical stakeholders will therefore receive an invitation from my cabinet this week to discuss the vision and the critical goals that we need to meet, and to ensure that the projects are indeed submitted and fit in the overall vision and profile of a strong reconstruction and rebuilding effort. While various matters have been prioritized by the Ministry through the MRP plan, we also recognize our day-to-day responsibilities, such as deadlines and preparations made for study financing. And everybody probably is aware that the deadline to submit study financing request was Monday last for the new academic year of 2018-2019.